Hello and welcome once again to Fishing Planet. Today we are in Florida and we are going to be going after unique and trophy butterfly peacock bass. Now these are excellent experience and money. And by money I mean dollars for the trophies and gold for the uniques. Now I've done my fishing for the day for the most part. And as you can see, looking at 9,300 for the experience. Fairly good on the dollars as well. And I have a teeny tiny 7.5 pound unique, which is 10 gold. What I understand, the uniques range from 10 gold to about 15 gold. And the best part about it is that you can get them on shiners, which means that you're not spending gold to make gold. And you will also see that I've caught some regular size butterfly peacock bass on the 3 foot 3/0 crankbait. The crankbait is ridiculously good at landing the regular size peacock bass. And occasionally you'll get the trophy peacock bass. Now, generally what I like to do is, because I'm kind of in farming mode, is I hit the peak times for the peacock bass, but then I'll go either an hour before or an hour later and just pull in as many of the butterfly peacock basses, the regular ones, as I can. So first, let's talk about the setup a little bit here. Now, initially I was running a 10-pound setup, which means I was running 10-pound test line with about a 12-pound reel and a maximum of 12 test rod. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great fight, especially whenever you got a big trophy or even a unique. You have a little bit of a fight, so you weren't just dragging them out of the water. And it made for a fun fishing experience. Of course, if you're in full on grinding mode, then the longer time you spend dragging in a fish, the less time you're trying to get that next fish. And the times for the uniques in particular are only an hour at a time for each day. But so what I did is I actually upgraded a little bit, and I'm running a 12-pound setup now. So max 13-pound reel. My rod actually goes up to 17 pounds, so that's going to last me for a little while. And I'm running the Fluoro 1200s, which is a 12-pound test. It cuts down to time considerably on pulling in the trophies, and it also cuts down the time on pulling in the uniques. Now, the spot that we want to go to for the uniques is the center dock. These are docks that stick out in the Everglades here. And the times that we want to go for is on a cloudy day, we want to go from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. On a sunny day, which is what my next day is going to be and what day we're going to be fishing on, we want to go from noon to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can also go from 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, on the sunny days, the 4 to 5 o'clock, I have not caught a uni at that time yet. I've heard that you can catch uniques, but you do catch trophies at that time, and uh, it's intermixed with trophy and normal gar. The spot that you fish for the uniques is kind of shared with Florida gar. They're not worth much experience or um, money, so I consider them as a annoying bycatch. But they can be fun if you hook into a large trophy because the trophies can get up to 15, 16 pounds. So they can be interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the center peg here. And I'm actually going to advance the time to our next day. So it's a sunny day. We'll go ahead and go to that noon. Whenever you get to the center dock here, the day that you're going, or the place that you're going for, is to the left of this tall tree. This tall tree right here. Out in front of it, you have this bed of lilies. And right over here to the left of it, there's this little indentation where the lilies don't come out quite as far. This is the spot that I shoot for. And I generally try to go for 100 feet. Yeah, I did. 103. That's pretty good. If you go much above that, then you risk getting into the weeds. And both the butterflies and the gars like to play around with the bait quite a bit. As you can see, I'm using a 5/0 hook. You can also use a 6/0 hook. And I actually average higher weights with the 6/0 hook. You don't catch quite as many, and sometimes it's a difference of maybe one fish, if that. And some days it seems like I'm just not catching anything on the 6/0 hook. So I'll kind of bounce back and forth between the 5/0 and the 6/0. And I do average higher poundage with the 6/0 hook than I do the 5. Now, both the peacocks and the gar, they like to play with the um, lure, or the bait rather, and they can be kind of a pain sometimes because you get the little single pop and all of a sudden your bait's gone. And it is just infuriating in the game as it is in real life whenever a fish takes your bait and you basically have no time to react and set the hook. I have had some success in waiting instead of the this is a pretty good size one. I have had some success in trying to get a little bit of tension in the line and then basically doing an early set. But whenever you try to do that, if you miss the set, you lose your bait. So it kind of depends on whether you want to lose your bait or not. Got here. 6.1 pound trophy. Definitely take that. All right, let's get back out there. Now I am using I think I'm at 12-inch lead. You can go as low as 10, which is the minimum. And I've tried to go out as far as 15. At 15, I get a little bit of an angle to my bobber, so I think that might be the maximum depth for the water there. I still caught fish. So basically, so long as your bobber's not on its side, pretty much good to go. Now, sometimes you will just sit and wait for a few minutes, but it seems like if you have your reel set or your reel speed set low and you just give it one quick little turn, you're basically pulling about 2 feet off of the amount of line that you have out, and it seems like it'll jumpstart the bite process. So if your bait's just sitting there and not really doing anything, and you're really wanting to maximize that 1 hour time, then it may be beneficial. You just give it a little turn. Actually, I had something playing with it in the first place. There we go. I don't know. I don't like the speed this guy's running around at. He's kind of running around like a gar. Oh, it's a peacock. Hooray. That one. I like to stay right in that little indentation And I got 103 feet, and I use this tree as a pointer, basically. Help me make sure I'm uniform on my distance. Because it really is kind of important on staying within that little area. And after this fish decides on whether he wants to take the bait or not, I'll go to mapping out kind of where the area is at for these peacocks. Oh yeah, pull. Pull, I like that. I don't like the direction you're going. As long as you don't run down the channel there. This one's pulling like unique. Could just be a big trophy, but hey, it would be really nice to get a unique while I'm doing this video. Come on in, guy. As I'm reeling this guy in, I will tell you guys that one of the reasons I upgraded to a little stronger setup is to cut down on the run distance. Nope, trophy, 6.1. The unique start at 7 pounds or so. But if the fish runs up this channel this way, the fish will hit like an invisible wall and get catapulted, literally. It will fly in the air and come back and land somewhere at your feet. And you have all of that line out. And so you generally lose the fish to low line tension. Now, I have had success with literally just spinning around in circles, kind of like this. And every now and then, whenever you do that, you'll get a little bit of tension, just as you're, I guess, glitching out the angles and everything. And I have managed to hold on to a fish long enough for the fish to run and run out all of the slack. So I was eventually able to bring that fish in, and it happened to be a unique. But if they run down that channel, you can just prepare yourself for that. And they will also do it if they run straight back this way. Some good little runs out of these guys here. Oh, yeah, this guy's pulling good. Come on in there, guy. Alright, I'm dragging you in at this point. Come on in. And we'll put up such a good fight. There we go. Unique butterfly peacock bass, 8.7 pounds. Not bad at all. Definitely keep that guy. 267 experience. See how much gold this one's worth. About 12, 14. Around there. Got 12. Oh, yay. Let's get another one. Only halfway through the hour. All right, so the area that we're concerned about is this space right in here. Comes out uh, 90 feet, I would say, distance from you. So from 90 feet out to about 105, 106, if you're in this little pocket here, is when you'll start getting into the weeds. And you can actually go in front of the tree here. Some people say to just aim directly at the tree. But really what you want to do is you just kind of want to be up against the lily line here, if you will, and work the edge of that lily. I'm not sure how far it extends out this way or this way, as I just work this little pocket right here. And I've had really good success with doing that. Butterfly peacock bass are everywhere on this map. There are very few areas that I've explored around in that I have not pulled butterfly peacock bass out of. Just as an example, this spot over here, you can pull peacock bass out of here. Um, Off to the left here, there's a little patch of lilies that are real close to the dock. And if you just, especially with the crankbait, if you just pull that crankbait right there next to it, then you'll pull butterflies out of there. Right here, where you see these little water ripples happening, there's a pocket of them right here. The peacocks are just everywhere. Go. Yeah, that little tiny movement of the rod there said that I was trying to make a strike. Really wasn't. I think they need to turn that sensitivity down on that. That's all right. We get right back out there. There we go. Now this might be one to try a short strike with. What I mean by that is I'll give it a little turn, try to get this pressure moving up to about the 3 or 4 bar mark, and then I'll do I'll try to set the hook at that point. Seems like sometimes I have pretty good luck doing that. Other times I just lose my bait a lot. This guy's just doing a lot of playing around with it, so no. Give it a second and see if I retain my bait or not. It looks like something's still playing with it. There we go. I'll give him a second here. I don't. I don't. I don't. Oh, don't lose interest, guy. It's yummy. There you go. I'll run down that channel. Come on in. All right, 6.3. Nice. Thank you. All right, so there's 1:04 p.m. now, and you can actually keep trying to fish this spot. Butterflies are pretty much all day, but during the off times, you do start getting a lot of gar. So that's one thing to consider. Hey, maybe we can pull in a gar here as a bonus. But there's a pretty good chance that it could also be another trophy, or it could just lose interest. Yep, he lost interest. So generally what I like to do, I have a 110-pound stringer, and I actually bring this. I had a 44-pound, and I filled that thing up way too fast. So just to get some extra poundage, I'll use this crankbait. And this crankbait is just ridiculous. Put a 2 reel speed on my casting setup here. And I'll just kind of slowly work it through the water. And the hit rate on this thing is just crazy. I'll sometimes go 5 or 6 casts in a row where I'm catching fish just like that. This I got a little 10-pound setup on. There we go. He's only 3.4. Like I said, you get the normal size ones on these with the cranks, but every now and then you'll get a trophy. And really, with this, it's just volume. So you're not pulling in a unique, or you're not pulling in a trophy, but you're just getting so many of them because they hit that crankbait so often that really you're making your experience and your gold just by volume. Especially if you've got a 110-pound max, or one of the larger fish nets or anything like that. Just adding a few pounds for a few minutes work is money in the bank. Nothing on that one. And you have all of these lilies that you can work out here. I've pulled some largemouth bass out of this area here. Alternate areas for the butterflies is if you come here. This area right in here is good. Also, you can pull bowfin out of here. If you count the channels here, this third channel, you got 1, 2, 3. This area right in here is good for pulling out um, trophy peacocks with the shiners. And usually I'll come here after the hour is up and I'm starting to catch gar at the center location. Then I'll come here. I typically won't fish the crankbait out there. I'll fish the shiners. They don't tend to get any bycatch like I do with the gar at the other location. And this is a particular spot that you probably want to keep in mind. I haven't been able to verify it yet because I don't have a float setup that'll get out that far. But I've heard that on cloudy days between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. down this channel at about 174 feet, right in here, is where unique largemouth bass like to hang out. And they get up to 12 pounds. So if you have a rod set up that will allow you to hit that 174 foot mark with the shiner, then it's the same depth, 10 to 12, 15, somewhere in that range. Shiner, just throw it right in there and get yourself a unique. Peacocks all along in there. There's also a spot for them down here on this lower dock. And this area right here. They hang out right along this area, and there's a little indentation right here, which is actually where I usually will throw the shiners. And generally what I'll do is I'll kind of bounce around to these different areas whenever it's off time for uniques, just to help with getting a bit more experience and a bit more money per day. There you go. And this area over here next to this flipped over boat is good. You can pull largemouth bass out of here. Pulled a bowfin out of here and gar as well. Again, you can explore these areas around these pads here. Butterflies are everywhere. So that's the overview for butterfly peacock bass. They are excellent. And as you can see, the catch rate's pretty good. Sizes are pretty good. They're fun to fight. And you get pretty good gold for the uniques. So if you're farming for gold, you can just hit your peak times during each day and make gold without spending gold. Hope you enjoy your time in Florida. Good luck and happy fishing.